Aloha, my name is Taylor Norris, and I'm the creator of Flower of Healing Reiki, unifying holistic health and spiritual awakening. In this video, I'm going to share with you one way that I love to work with the moon cycle by seed cycling. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it's a great way to work with the moon in an embodied way. And I've noticed that it works so well. It's really improved my health quite a bit, my connection with the moon, and it's really also helped my raw food diet in terms of ensuring adequate and diverse fat sources, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, being in a really nice balance throughout the moon cycle, and also eliminating any kind of binge eating as well. I've noticed really positive effects on eliminating any sort of emotional eating and overeating fat and then feeling heavy and having digestive issues, and all of that has just gone away as I've started this seed cycling, and I find it incredibly balancing. So I'm excited to share with you more about what it is and how to do it. So seed cycling is something that I heard about many years ago, at least back in 2016. I was aware of it. I was aware that it was a way to work with your reproductive hormones and balance them naturally without using a birth control pill or implants or all the different ways that hormones are usually controlled with pharmaceuticals, essentially pharmaceutical products, various pharmaceutical products. And this was a natural way. Seed cycling I learned about it as a natural way to actually balance your reproductive hormones, because I was aware that mine were not balanced properly. And I didn't want to take the pill. I was trying to get my period back at the time. And I looked into seed cycling as a solution. And so I started doing it, but I had trouble because my diet really wasn't very dialed in at that time. I was going through a lot of emotional transformation, you could say. And also spiritual transformation. I was reflecting back on that period of my life this morning and realizing so much of the spiritual techniques that I practice now really got lit up during that time when I was experimenting with a lot of different visualization, meditation styles, pranayama styles, invocations. And this was before my Reiki attunement. So really awesome time period in many ways. Seed cycling coming into my awareness being one of those great keys. However, I never really since then, went back into it for any length of time. One of the things with seed cycling is that, it's best to really do it with so many things, right? It's best to really do it. And the way it works, it's over the course of an entire moon cycle and an entire 28 days, an entire month, essentially. So you may not notice any results within the first month. What was recommended in my reading and study of it was to give it at least maybe 3-4 months before expecting your period to come back or hormonal balance to really be back and be there. So I kind of dabbled. I would try to do it when I could, but I never really did it until recently. Seed cycling, finally giving it a try and succeeding, is an example, a powerful example of how Flower of Healing Reiki empowered me to finally give form into this habit that I knew would benefit me, that I was naturally drawn to and resonating with and wanting to explore, but never quite really assembling the focus to give it a try and see how it worked for me over enough of a period of time to notice if it's something I want to continue or not. And it absolutely is. So this is a very personal example from my personal life of how Flower of Healing Reiki truly unifies and empowers holistic health, holistic healing with spiritual awakening, making healthy habits that the mind knows are really good to practice. And maybe there's some resistance unconsciously or consciously to actually giving it a full try and finding that it's easy, it's enjoyable, and it's adding a lot of value and benefit to one's life. This is a very practical example of how Reiki has really benefited my health and my practice of healthy eating, health habits, to overcome something that was a problem for me, even after many years of raw food diet, raw food Ayurveda, tweaking, refining, and finding some balance. I was still struggling with periodic binge eating, emotional eating, late night eating, going and gravitating to the super high calorie dense, dates and tahini, dates, nut butter, these kinds of things, because I was hungry, I was missing something. And now that's completely evaporated, and seed cycling is my natural rhythm, and it's working really, really well for me. I've never felt this empowered and in control and in balance with regard to my fat intake. And it feels so right, rationally and intuitively. I've been working consciously with the moon cycle for over a year now, setting a new intention with every new moon. So I've been closely paying attention to the moon cycle anyway. And the way seed cycling works is that during the waxing moon, so from new moon when the moon is dark to full moon when it's completely at its largest, full light, full intensity, that is the waxing cycle. And it's about 2 weeks. So during that time, the instruction with seed cycling is to take, the amounts vary, but a tablespoon or two of flaxseed and a tablespoon or two of pumpkin seed during that waxing period, the first 2 weeks of the moon cycle. And what I have been doing is freshly grinding up 1 tablespoon of flaxseed and having at least 1 or 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, soaking them and adding them to my dressings and soups as my healthy fat for the day in my raw food Ayurveda Sattvic, beautiful, amazing diet. And the final 2 weeks, you change your seeds. So you consume from the full moon right back around to when it's new, right at the very end, the balsamic moon. It's called the dark of the moon, that period right before it goes new. You consume 1 or 2 tablespoons. Again, you can adjust the amounts to be right for you, of sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. And it's really simple. Again, you can use tahini too as your sesame seed. You can use nut butters, the whole, it's not a nut butter, the whole seed butter as a substitute. But what I've been drawn to more and more is actually to use the whole seed and not even do the butter version, although there's nothing wrong with doing the butter version. It still is going to work. I would choose raw though. I would choose raw and sprouted versions of the seed butter to get the full life force of the seeds, because that's the point. So during the waning moon cycle, it's sesame seeds and it is sunflower seeds. And again, I'll just add a tablespoon or two to my dressings, to my soups, and have that in my dinner every night. And you may be thinking, oh, like a tablespoon or two, that's not enough fat. Well, that's where I allow my body to dictate. If I want some more, I will add something that's neutral, like hemp seed or avocado. And those are neutral across the entire moon cycle. And the hemp seed in particular has a really nice balance of the omega-3, 6, and 9. So they're very neutral like that. And I also add additional balance by having a tablespoon of chia seed every day in my smoothies. And as a result, I've just kind of by default eliminated nuts from my diet without even necessarily trying. But it's something I've never tried before on my whole plant-based journey and raw vegan journey, raw food Ayurveda journey, to not consume nuts. And this has been a big deal because my experience in doing seed cycling is that the frequency of the seeds is actually higher and more nutritious and lighter and easier to digest than when I was eating nuts regularly. Now, I have not completely 100% eliminated nuts. I have cashews usually about once a week and a little like raw pie that I get every week as a treat to myself. But for the most part, my 99% of the time, it's just the seeds. And I've noticed my digestion's better. There's no brain fog at any time. My energy levels are a lot better. Like I'm going strong most days from 5 a.m. until I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, or a little later than that. But I'm strong, I'm present, I'm there. Energy levels have been fantastic. Digestion, like I said, has improved. My quality of sleep has improved. And there's been none of the munchies, binging, emotional eating. Oh my God, I can't have fat in the house because I'm going to tear into it. Also, with doing the seed cycling, it's like I only have seeds in the house. So even if I wanted to go at the jar of, almond butter, it's not there. Seeds are really like a very, I don't want to say they're binge proof because for some people they're not. But I know for me personally, I never find myself sitting down and just like crushing a bunch of hemp seeds, for example. Now, also, when I buy my seeds, I'm getting the raw and I'm getting unsalted, and I'm soaking the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds. The flax seeds I don't soak. I grind them fresh every day in like a little coffee grinder, spice grinder. And the sesame seeds, previous moon cycles, I've done tahini. This waning cycle, I am experimenting with the whole sesame seeds, and I'm just going to do what I did with the flaxseed and grind them up in the coffee grinder, little spice grinder, and use those in my soups and in my dressings at night. But it's been good. I've been doing this at least a couple months, a couple moon cycles. And it's really, like I said, very easy to do if you already pay attention to the moon. It's so easy. it's another way to really connect with the moon, with the earth, with the sun, with the body, with the feminine energy as well. Now, I will say I haven't noticed any, reproductive miracles because I'm not trying to conceive. I'm not trying to do anything with my period in terms of getting a period back or, trying to reduce kind of discomfort with that. But reports from other people who do it seem to be very positive in terms of having a more enjoyable menstrual cycle, having, some help, some support, more hormonal balance and regulation, no matter where you are in your lifespan, whether you're menstruating or you're, after menstruation, menopause, post, pre. This is one way to get those hormones in balance very naturally, very easily. Eliminate any kind of binging and emotional eating. For the most part, I won't say it's going to work for everybody because, we're all different. We have different experience and different dietary constitutions as well. So it's a really nutrient dense way to get in those healthy fats. And what I've noticed is that really the balance of those healthy fats then is just beautiful. It's like I've never felt more dialed in with all those omega-3, 6, 9, all of it, that I can really just relax and know I'm getting like the right amount of the right fats all the time and getting that full diversity too. Because in the past, I'd kind of get like hooked into one fat, like tahini or almond butter, and kind of not be doing much other ones. Maybe some chia seeds typically I would do. And this way, it's just like, it's so balanced. And some of my raw food teachers have recommended that, where they haven't recommended seed cycling in particular, but they've recommended kind of rotating the fats like that. And this, with the seed cycling, this is actually a natural law based way to rotate fats in a way that is very harmonic and very balancing. And like I said, including in the hemp seeds and the chia seeds and the avocado. Chia I include every single day. Avocado and hemp seeds is kind of whenever I feel like it. And I presume if a person were drawn to also be including in, a Brazil nut at this time, a walnut at this time, an almond at this time, that could also be incorporated if you are someone who eats nuts and wants to include those nutrients and those energies into your diet. But I will say that so far, just doing it this way with basically no nuts has just been tremendously helpful and very beneficial. And I highly recommend, if you're resonating and maybe you've thought of seed cycling in the past, that to give it a try, really give it a try. It's been really beneficial for me, and it's worth a try, and it's worth doing it at least a moon cycle. And if maybe you were kind of shaky, doing another moon cycle, and it becomes easier and easier and more normal. And just the benefits, like I said, they keep revealing themselves to me. So please leave in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Have you heard of seed cycling? Have you tried it before? What's your experience? If you do try it, let me know how it goes. And my feeling with this is that this is a very Sattvic, balancing way, tridoshic way to be working with the moon and all the Ayurvedic doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, to support that balance over the entire moon cycle and season to season. For more information about my health and spiritual awakening unified offerings, Reiki offerings, please visit my website, taylornorrisreiki.com. I would love to connect more with you. Aloha, aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo. In today's video, I would like to share with you something that I do to work with the moon cycle in an embodied way. Try saying that one 5 times fast. In an embodied way, in an embodied way, in an embodied way, in an embodied way, in an embodied way.